Welcome to the Genre Bender. Today, we are transporting ourselves back to 1968, the boiling point of rock music. This was a year when the world shook with change, and music transformed into a powerful weapon and a mirror of the era. We will break down 18 tracks that defined the landscape of that time, from psychedelic experiments to heavy guitar riffs that laid the foundation for the future of hard rock. In this episode, we will analyze how these compositions bent genre boundaries to create immortal hits. Ready to see how real rock was born? Buckle up, we are starting our deep dive into the history of sound. You're ready to watch. Let's go.
Next song.
Hey Jude, don't
The Beatles, Hey Jude.
remember to let her into your heart.
The year 1968 began with the realization that rock had grown into a mature art form. Fans started expanding their horizons, moving far beyond the boundaries of 3-minute singles. We open our list with a composition that is rightfully considered one of the most significant achievements in the history of popular music.
Is it cool? My making is worth.
McCartney created not just a song, but a monumental anthem. Its unique structure, where the second half transitions into an endless coda, forced radio stations to rethink their strict rules on track length. This was a bold bend of form that became accessible to millions thanks to the sincerity and simplicity of its melody.
Hey Jude, go out and get her.
This track is a prime example of how a deeply personal story expands into a global message. Every single voice in the choir during the final section gives the song a sense of power and unity that can still be felt decades later. Friends, what emotions does the finale of Hey Jude stir up in you? Would this song have become so legendary without this unusual ending? Share your thoughts in the comments.
To your heart, then you can start.
Next song.
Sitting in the morning sun,
Otis Redding, Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay.
then I watch him roll away again. Yeah.
Following an anthem of the Beatles scale, we move on to something more intimate and melancholic. This track became a symbol of bright sorrow and the first ever posthumous #1 hit, forever changing our understanding of how deep soul rock and rhythm and blues could be at the tail end of the decade.
The bay, watching the tide roll.
Otis Redding masterfully captured the feeling of loneliness and pure contemplation. The ambient sound of ocean waves and the gentle guitar strumming create a meditative atmosphere that was entirely new for its time. The artist bent the standard soul format by injecting elements of acoustic rock, creating something truly unique and timeless.
Nothing to live for, and look like nothing's gonna come.
This composition remains one of the most recognizable tracks in history due to its raw honesty. You can feel every word and sound left behind by the master. Friends, what kind of emotions does this track evoke for you? Do you think Otis managed to convey his state of mind here better than anyone else ever could? Share your impressions in the comments.
This is not my home. Now I'm just gonna sit at.
Next song.
We'd like to know a little
Simon and Garfunkel, Mrs. Robinson.
about you. All you see are sympathetic eyes.
The year 1968 was a turning point where rock music became tightly intertwined with cinema. This track turned into the definitive soundtrack for an entire era, offering the listener a mysterious, deep story wrapped in a flawless folk rock format that still sounds incredibly relevant today.
Robinson, Jesus loves you more than you will know.
Masterful vocal harmonies and a driving rhythmic pattern made this track an absolute gold standard. Paul Simon managed to turn a simple story into a sharp social commentary using metaphors and an unforgettable guitar finger-picking style. It was a brilliant bend of the pop form, where a light melody hides a philosophical subtext and subtle irony.
Mrs. Robinson, heaven knows a place for those who pray.
The song became the voice of a generation searching for its place in a rapidly shifting world. Its rhythm is impossible to forget, and the lyrics invite you to analyze them over and over. Friends, what does Mrs. Robinson mean to you? Do you consider this track to be the finest example of cinema and music merging? Leave your comments below. We really want to know your take.
Yeah. Laugh about it, shout about it. When
Next song. The Doors' Hello, I Love You.
you tell me your name, hello, I love you, let me jump in your game.
Los Angeles continued to dictate the fashion for psychedelia. The band's leader, who had already become a rock and roll icon, proved once again that he could craft massive hits out of simple yet incredibly magnetic formulas that made multi-thousand-seat arenas vibrate with excitement and anticipation.
Crouches at her feet like a dog that begs for.
Jim Morrison and company delivered a track that seems incredibly straightforward on the surface but possesses a unique magic. Its upfront lyrics and driving, steady beat made it an instant hit. This was a deliberate bend toward commercial accessibility without losing an ounce of the dark charm native to all of the Doors' work.
She's walking down the street.
The song still sounds remarkably fresh today because of its raw energy. It perfectly captures the spirit of freedom and defiance that defined 1968. Friends, how do you feel about this track? Do you think it gets overlooked compared to the band's heavier hits? Make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments.
Next song.
Let's close the tired eye.
Cream, Sunshine of Your Love.
I'll be with you, darling, soon.
Rock was getting noticeably heavier. Fuzz pedals, thunderous drums, and virtuosic showmanship turned this track into the ultimate benchmark for power rock. It stands as a flawless example of how just three musicians could create a wall of sound that filled the entire space, forever altering our perception of guitar mastery.
Eric Clapton's legendary guitar riff became the sonic calling card of the entire decade. The band bent the traditional blues structure, fusing it with heavy psychedelia and unbelievable raw power. This was a manifesto of how a guitar could talk, scream, and sing, creating a dense, rich musical landscape. This composition represents the absolute pinnacle of virtuosity and drive. It went on to inspire thousands of guitarists across the globe. Friends, why do you think this specific riff became so iconic? Do you have a favorite moment in this track, or maybe a personal story tied to it? We are waiting for your comments.
If you liked the video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the Genre Bender channel.
Next song.
Get your motor running.
Steppenwolf, Born to be Wild.
Yeah, darling, go make it happen.
The open highways of America were calling. This track became the ultimate biker anthem and the definitive symbol of chasing freedom on endless roads. A perfect blend of heavy rock and a spirit of adventure made it an essential element of '68 culture, turning the band into true heroes of road romance.
Born to be wild.
The energy of this song hits you like a freight train from the very first seconds. The band forged a sound that perfectly mirrored a collective thirst for change and wild freedom. This was a true structural bend of the genre. Hard, driving, and uncompromisingly honest rock that proclaimed the birth of a new culture built on speed and adrenaline.
Racing with the wind. And the feeling that I'm
This song became the permanent soundtrack for the lives of multiple generations. The untamed energy of 1968 lives in its core. Friends, what does Born to be Wild mean to you? Do you agree that it stands as the ultimate rock anthem of all time? Leave your comments and share your thoughts.
all of the bands at once and explode into space.
Next song. The Rascals, People Got to Be Free. Rock music has always served as a soapbox for social commentary. In a year marked by massive political upheaval, this track became the voice of reason and unity. The group masterfully utilized a pop structure to deliver heavy, serious ideas, creating a sound that brought together the hearts of millions of listeners worldwide.
I'll do unto you what you do to me.
A bright, uplifting melody carrying a profound message. The band proved that even during turbulent times, you can sing about freedom and equality with a smile. This was a distinct bend toward socially conscious rock, where musical harmonies work together to serve the idea of unity, creating a remarkably warm atmosphere. This song serves as a powerful reminder that every individual voice matters. Its core message remains just as relevant today, decades later. Friends, how crucial do you think it is to unite people through music in this day and age? What feelings does this track evoke in you? Be sure to write down your comments.
Next song. The Rolling Stones, Jumpin' Jack Flash. Nobody knew how to build tension quite like them. This track is a textbook example of primal rock energy bursting right through the speakers. The band engineered a riff that became immediately synonymous with danger, raw passion, and the wildest, most untamed rock and roll drive of the late 1960s.
Pure assertiveness, Mick Jagger's fierce vocals, and a sharp, biting guitar tone. This was a showcase of a band returning to their bluesy roots but armed with a brand new, much heavier sonic weight. A brilliant bend toward hard rock that set the pace for every band dreaming of matching that level of stage swagger and grit. Jumpin' Jack Flash is the absolute quintessence of rock and roll. This track has it all, from pure adrenaline to the magnetic charisma of the band members. Friends, what do you think is the secret behind this song's eternal youth? What exactly makes it so special for you? We are incredibly curious to read your feedback in the comments.
Next song. Jimi Hendrix, All Along the Watchtower. Sometimes a cover version blows the original out of the water, establishing itself as a new classic. This case is a striking example of how a genius guitar player completely reimagined a Bob Dylan track, transforming it into a psychedelic masterpiece filled with drama, mystery, and mind-bending guitar techniques.
Hendrix treated the recording studio as an instrument in its own right, painting complex sonic landscapes. His guitar sounds like an actual human voice, perfectly channeling tension and an impending sense of change. This was a massive bend for the genre, turning an acoustic folk song into a heavy psychedelic rock standard that altered the rules of the game forever. Hendrix's version is universally, widely regarded as one of the greatest musical performances in history. It is packed to the brim with emotional depth and technical mastery. Friends, what is your take on this version? Do you believe Hendrix managed to surpass Dylan's original? Make sure to share your impressions and leave your comments under the video.
Next song. Iron Butterfly, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. Psychedelia reached its absolute zenith, and this track became its most monumental, heavy incarnation. Endless instrumental jams, a heavy organ drone, and mystical lyrics. This was a trip to outer worlds that stunned listeners with its sheer audacity and hypnotic, sprawling sound.
The band crafted a track that is impossible to mistake for anything else. Its famous heavy riff and massive running time became the stuff of legends. This was an extreme bend of the traditional radio format, proving that audiences were ready for a prolonged immersion into a single musical theme as long as it was packed with heavy energy. This track stands as the defining symbol of an era of wild psychedelic experimentation. It leaves an unforgettable impression. Friends, what goes through your mind when you listen to this epic piece? Do you think a track like this could become a hit in our modern times? Write down your thoughts and opinions in the comments.
Next song.
I got a little girl, she's on my mind. Look out.
Deep Purple, Hush. The British invasion was still going strong, constantly bringing fresh talent and new sonic flavors to the table. This track is an exceptional example of how to take a killer rhythm and turn it into an infectious hit. The group proved just how vital it is to have an innate sense of style and the ability to craft hooks that stick with you instantly.
A fierce delivery, driving percussion, and a vocal hook that sticks in your head instantly. The band created a sound that managed to be simultaneously light and heavy. This was an early bend toward jazz rock and heavy pop that showcased the immense potential of a group that would soon become titans of hard rock and blueprints for the genre.
She broke my heart, but I love her just sing now. Hush, hush.
This track remains one of the most vibrant highlights of Deep Purple's early era. You can feel the raw drive and the pure joy of creation in it. Friends, do you think this track represents the most interesting period of the band's early career? What exactly draws you to it? We are looking forward to your comments.
Hey, I gotta head.
Next song. Tommy James and the Shondells, Money Money. Pop rock was the undisputed king of the radio waves. This track is a masterclass in songwriting efficiency, creating a hook that is physically impossible to get out of your head. A simple yet incredibly effective rhythm and a catchy shout-along chorus made it a certified dance floor favorite across the globe in 1968.
High energy, pure drive, and raw simplicity were the core ingredients of this massive success. The band knew exactly how to engineer a sound that forced people to start moving. This bend toward pure, unadulterated pop rock showed that music doesn't have to be overly complex to remain effective and memorable for decades to come. This song is nothing but pure fun and energy. It never fails to lift the mood. Friends, how do you feel about this kind of straightforward, high-octane pop rock? Do you consider this hit to be the ultimate party anthem? Share your stance and impressions in the comments.
If you liked the video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the Genre Bender channel.
Next song. The Beatles, Revolution.
Tell me that it's evolution.
The world around them was fracturing, and the Beatles were right in the eye of the storm. This track was their direct response to social unrest, a song filled with conflict, doubt, and yet a glimmer of hope. The band demonstrated that music could be a serious tool for discussing reality without losing a single drop of its artistic brilliance.
A heavily distorted, biting guitar tone and upfront, provocative lyrics. The band showed they weren't afraid to ask uncomfortable questions. This was a sharp bend toward a rougher, politically conscious rock style, where heavy music and a political statement fused into one, leaving the listener deep in thought. The song remains a strikingly relevant statement about social change to this day. The raw energy of the era screams through the track. Friends, do you believe this track was the boldest move the Beatles ever made? What attracts you or perhaps startles you about its distorted sound? Leave your comments and opinions below.
Next song. Blue Cheer, Summertime Blues. Heavy sounds were rapidly gaining mainstream traction, and these guys were among the earliest pioneers. They took a lighthearted classic and reinterpreted it with such visceral fury that it essentially laid down the bedrock for garage rock and proto-metal. It's an example of how radical you could be while staying true to the spirit of the times.
A crushing wall of guitar noise and a total lack of compromise. The band proved that rock could be deafening, brutal, and raw. This aggressive bend toward a heavy, overdriven sound anticipated the birth of numerous extreme subgenres. It was music pushed to the absolute brink, fueled by the protest energy of 1968. This track is a genuine stress test for your ears, packed with unbelievable power. Friends, how do you handle this kind of extreme, proto-heavy sound? Do you consider Blue Cheer to be the true godfathers of heavy metal? Be sure to write down your comments, we read every single one.
Next song.
When I look up to the sky,
Status Quo, Pictures of Matchstick Men.
my head, I see your face underneath my pillow.
Psychedelia in Great Britain possessed its own completely unique flavor. This track is an excellent example of how music can be strange, whimsical, and yet incredibly alluring. The band engineered a sound that feels as if it teleports us into another dimension ruled by fantasy and unusual harmonic structures.
When there's hot inside your face, it just won't leave.
Unusual phasing effects and hypnotic guitar lines create an unforgettable atmosphere. The band successfully found a unique sonic signature that made them stand out from all their competitors. This was a fascinating bend toward psychedelic pop, where every tiny detail works to build a cohesive, almost fairytale-like world of sound.
All I ever see is them.
This song is a certified crown jewel of British psychedelia. It is incredibly atmospheric and deeply intriguing. Friends, what do you think about this unusual, swirling sound? Do you consider this track to be their absolute best work from that era? We are waiting for your comments and opinions.
Know your reflection when I look in their direction now.
Next song. The Monkees, Valerie.
There's a girl I know who makes me feel so good.
Even when a group was heavily tied to a clean pop image, they were more than capable of delivering stellar rock hits. This track is a testament to how sheer songwriting mastery and instrumental execution can turn a straightforward track into a driving hit that still sounds fresh, energetic, and highly musical today.
A fiery, flamenco-tinged guitar solo, a fast-paced tempo, and an instantly memorable melody line. The group certainly knew how to construct hits that possess mass appeal. This bend toward high-quality pop rock proved that good taste and sharp songwriting skills matter far more than corporate image, resulting in music that remains a joy to listen to decades later. The song is packed to the brim with excitement and joyful energy. It is an excellent showcase of 1968 pop rock craftsmanship. Friends, do you think the Monkees were underrated as actual musicians back then? What are your thoughts on this specific hit? Leave your comments. We are eager to read your take.
But she sure looks different than the way she looked.
Next song.
So Jack ran baby back on the road.
Canned Heat, On the Road Again.
My mama left me when I was quite young.
The blues has always served as the foundation of rock, and this track is the absolute best proof of that fact. Rhythmic, hypnotic, and incredibly deep, it immediately teleports us into a world of endless highways. The group managed to make traditional blues relevant and captivating for the youth of the late 60s, establishing a highly recognizable style.
A hypnotic combination of a droning harmonica, a rolling bass line, and a steady guitar riff. The band built a track that feels like an endless journey across the country. This bend toward heavy blues rock showed that you can stay entirely faithful to roots traditions while creating music that sounds fresh, modern, and deeply enthralling. This song is a beautiful ode to travel, hitchhiking, and absolute freedom. It is incredibly atmospheric. Friends, what do you feel when you listen to On the Road Again? Do you think the band succeeded in making the blues accessible to everyone? Make sure to share your impressions in the comments.
Next song.
Oh, come on, come on, come.
Janis Joplin, Piece of My Heart.
Oh, honey, didn't I give you nearly everything I ever had to give you?
The grand finale of our review features a voice that is physically impossible to forget. She was the undisputed queen of rock, and this track stands as the definitive proof of her unbelievable talent. Raw power, intense passion, and bleeding sincerity are what made her music immortal, leaving a permanent mark on the cultural code of 1968.
Another little piece of a heart now, baby. Break it.
Janis quite literally lived through every single note, pouring all her pain, sorrow, and joy directly onto the audience. This was a radical bend toward emotionally naked rock, where the vocal performance becomes the primary instrument. The track, overflowing with passion and vocal power, forever shattered old limitations on what a female rock vocal could be.
Well, you know you got it if it makes you feel good. Yes.
Janis Joplin remains a uniquely brilliant phenomenon in music history. Her voice pierces straight into the soul. Friends, do you consider Piece of My Heart to be Janis's definitive masterpiece performance? What exactly moves you the most in this song? Write your comments down. We are looking forward to your replies.
Here on the Genre Bender, we will continue to explore these musical fractures to get to the very core of great songs. Thank you for walking this path through 1968 with us. Subscribe, hit the like button, and let us know in the comments which track from our list became your ultimate personal discovery. See you in the next episodes, where music will tell us even more incredible stories. The year 1968 was a monumental era when rock music reached unbelievable artistic heights, establishing itself as the primary mouthpiece of a generation. From monumental stadium anthems to raw, distorted garage noise, we have tracked how 18 songs permanently rewrote the cultural code of the planet. These musicians weren't just playing instruments, they were actively writing history, breaking old formulas, and forging brand new horizons.
If you liked the video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the Genre Bender channel.